All right, hello folks. Today we are going to do our third and final day with the distributive property. So to kind of take you back through what we've done this week, the first day we distributed a positive number. The second day we distributed a negative number, and what we saw is we got into those problems where we had to do we had double signs and we had to do keep it, change it in order to fix that. And so today what I'd like to do is end our work with distributive property by kind of showing you the way that I would like you to do these from here on out. The main objective here is to help you avoid the situation where you have the double signs and you have to use keep it, change it. So that's kind of what we want to do today. All right, so here is what we have been doing. We started out on that first day by doing simple little problems like 5 times the group, 2x plus 3. So remember how this goes. This problem is asking me to take the number 5 and to multiply that number 5 by the entire group, 2x plus 3. And so the way that I've been having you do this is I've been having you first of all look inside the parentheses to see if there's a plus or a minus there. And I've been having you come down here and go ahead and write that down. So when I look inside of here and I see this plus sign, I'm immediately going to come down here and write my plus sign. Now, what the distributive property tells me to do is to take that 5 that's being multiplied by this group and to multiply that 5 by each member of my group. So we did 5 times 2x first. 5 times 2 is 10, and we reattach x. And then 5 times 3 is 15. And so I end up with 10x plus 15. So to take you back through how I did that, I first of all looked at my plus sign and I wrote the same sign down here. And then I multiplied 5 by each member of my group. 5 times 2x gave me the 10x, and 5 times 3 gave me the 15. Now in this problem, there are no double signs. We have 10x plus 15. There's only one sign here in the middle, which is the way I want it to be. So there would be no need on this problem to do the whole keep it, change it thing. This answer is the way I want it to be. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to bring you over to the other side of the board here. And I want to take that same problem and show you the way that I want you to do it from this point forward. And for this problem, it involves a tiny change. So on this one, you won't notice that big of a difference. All right, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. Problem is still the same. I'm trying to multiply the number 5 times the entire group, 2x plus 3. Now what I am not going to do this time, from this point forward, we are not going to do this anymore. I've been having you look in here to see if there's a plus or a minus, and then I've been having you come down here to write that sign down. Don't want you to do that anymore. So I don't want you to start out by looking for the plus or minus and bringing that down here and writing it down. So we're going to skip that step from here on out. Okay? So here's the deal. I want you looking at your group. What is the first member of your group? Well, the first member of your group is your 2x. So I'm going to come right here and I'm going to draw a line right after that first member of my group. Okay, so here's the deal now. Again, I want you looking at that group and listen to this carefully because this is super important. This is one of those moments where I wish that you were, well, there are lots of those moments, but this is one of those moments especially where I wish you were here in the room with me because this is a big deal. And I would like for you to be here where you could ask all the questions you need to ask. So I need you listening super carefully here and seeing if you understand this. And if not, then I need to hear from you. You need to email me and say, hey, I need some help on this. And if we need to, we can Zoom individually to take care of that. But at any rate, I want you to notice the change I'm making. Over here, I looked in here and I saw that plus sign. So I immediately came down here and wrote that down first. I am not doing that this time. There's a plus sign there. I am not bringing it down here and writing it down. I'm not going to do that anymore. Instead, I'm going to look at my group and determine the first member. The first member is 2x. And what I did then is I drew this line in the problem right after that 2x to divide my group into two parts. So, again here, I want you looking at this group. Our group has two members in it. It has 2x, which is the first member of the group. And now, when I look at this second member of the group, I am going to see him as a positive 3. So I've got 2x as the first member of my group, and I'm going to see the second member as being a positive 3. And I'm going to see him as being a positive 3 because he has a plus in front of him, and pluses are positives. Okay? So notice the change I'm making. No longer am I picking up this plus sign and carrying it down here and writing it down first and then distributing. I am looking at my group. First member is 2x. I drew a line here to split it up. The second member of this group is positive 3. Now, if you need to, for now, draw that line. If you don't need to draw the line, then don't. But eventually, I would like for everybody to get to a point where they just see it, rather than having to draw that line. But at any rate, now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we are going to distribute. I'm going to erase what I wrote up here because he's kind of in my way. So here we go. We're going to take the 5 and multiply it by each member of our group. So we're going to take the 5 and multiply it by each member of our group, just like we always have. So first, you are going to do 5 times 2x, which is exactly what you did over here. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 2x is 10x. Now, when you do the second part of this problem, okay, you are going to multiply 5 times the second member of your group. But this time, you're going to think of that as 5 times a positive 3. And again, remember why I'm thinking of that as positive 3. I'm thinking of him as positive because this plus sign in front of him says I'm positive. So I'm doing 5 times a positive 3. Well, 5 times a positive 3 is a positive 15. So when I come down here to write my answer, it's a positive 15. I am going to put a plus to show that he's positive, and then write my 15. So look at these two problems side by side. My approach was just a tiny bit different, but I want you to notice that it does give us the same answer. So to kind of recap the change that I'm making here, my first step over here was to look inside of here to see if there was a plus or a minus and carry that down. And then I did 5 times each member of my group. Over here, I didn't carry that plus sign down. I looked at my group and I split it into its two parts. There was a 2x and there was a positive 3. And then I multiplied 5 by each of those members. 5 times 2x was 10x. And then 5 times positive 3 was positive 15. So I wrote plus 15 for my positive 15. But it's the same answer. It's just a different way of approaching it. So the thing we're changing is we are not writing down that sign to start with. We're looking at the group, splitting it into the two members, and then still multiplying 5 by each of those members. All right, let's try another one. Let's try 4 times 3x minus 5. 4 times 3x minus 5. So in this problem, we are being asked to take the number 4 and we are being asked to multiply that by the group, 3x minus 5. Now I'm going to do this first the way we would have done it, and then show you the way I want you to do it now. So the way we would have done it before today is we would have looked in here to see if there was a plus or a minus, and in this case there's a minus, so we would have written that down first. So we wrote down the sign first. Then we took the 4 and multiplied it by each member of the group. So we did 4 times 3x. 4 times 3 is 12, reattach x. And then we did 4 times 5, 20. So we get 12x minus 20. And notice here, no double sign in the middle, so I don't have to keep it, change it, change it. This is the answer. Now, that was the way we did it Tuesday. Here is how I want you to do it now. The change we are making is we are not going to go in here and get this minus sign and carry it down. We're not going to write down the sign first. We're going to divide our group up first. The first member of my group is 3x, so I'm going to draw a line right after that 3x. So that splits my group into its 2 members. 3x is the first member. Now notice this, negative 5 is the second member, and the reason I'm saying negative 5 is because there's a minus in front of that 5. That makes him negative. So I'm going to start seeing him as a negative 5. So my group members are 3x and then negative 5. So now I'm going to do what we would have always done. I'm going to take my 4 and multiply him by each member of my group. So I'm going to do 4 times 3x. 4 times 3 is 12. Reattach my x. Okay, now notice there's no sign here because I didn't take this minus and carry him down. There's no sign here. I'm waiting on that sign. All right, so now I'm going to do 4 times this second member of the group. I'm doing 4 times a negative 5. 4 times a negative 5. 4 times a negative 5 is a negative 20. So because he is a negative 20, I'm going to write minus in front of him to show that he is negative. So notice, same answer, I still get 12x minus 20. So on these problems, the way I want you to do it from here on out is not go looking for that sign first and write it down first like we have been. Okay? What I want you to do is split that group into its 2 members. Draw that line right after that first member of the group. You have a 3x, and then you're going to see this guy as being negative 5. So when you do that second multiplication, you're going to say, okay, I'm doing 4 times negative 5. And when you get a negative 20, you're going to write minus for the negative and then 20. So when things are positive, you're going to put pluses. When things are negatives, you're going to put minuses. Now, doesn't benefit us all that much on these problems to do that. But let's take a look at a problem where you're distributing a negative number. Let's say I'm doing something like negative 3 times 2x plus 1. So in that problem, we're taking the number negative 3 and we're multiplying it by the group 2x plus 1. Now, the way I showed you to do this yesterday was to come up here and look for your plus or minus sign and write it down. So the first thing I always wrote down in my answer was that sign. Then we do negative 3 times 2x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Reattach x. And then we did negative 3 times 1, which gave us negative 3. Now this was a double sign problem because right here in the middle I don't just see one sign, I see 2. I see negative 6x plus negative 3, which you know I don't like. So this is where I would keep it, change it, change it. So keep it, negative 6x, change it from plus to minus, change it from negative 3 to positive 3. So that's where I ended up. Now, here's where you'll see the benefit to our new approach that we're taking today. I'm not going to go up here looking for a sign and carry it down. Okay? Instead, I'm going to look at my group and divide it into the two members. The first member is a 2x, so I'm going to draw my line right after that first member. So my group consists of the members 2x and, guess what? Positive 1. 2x and positive 1. And why am I saying positive? Hopefully at home you're answering. I'm saying positive because there is a plus in front of that 1. So that sign right there that we've been carrying down, we're now letting it decide if this second member is a positive or a negative. That's what we're doing. So now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a negative 3 times 2x. Negative 3 times that first member. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Reattach x. Now we're doing negative 3 times positive 1. And negative 3 times positive 1 is negative 3. So I'm going to write minus 3 because he's a negative 3. And I want you to notice something. It completely allows me to skip that step. The way I'm doing this right now allows me to skip that keep it, change it step that kind of adds to our aggravation here. So no more grabbing that plus or minus sign and writing it down first. Instead, split your group into its two members. So right after whatever that first member is, draw that line, and then the plus or minus sign will tell you if that second member is a positive or a negative. And then you'll do the same thing we've been doing. Take that number outside and multiply it by each member of your group. But this shows you where this is an advantage. Now, when I see this problem, notice that in front of my parentheses, I only see a negative sign. We know what that means, though. That doesn't mean that we forgot to write the number out there. That means that the number is a what? The number is a 1. There should be a 1 right there in front of those parentheses. Now, again, this time around, I'm going to do the problem one way. I'm going to do it the way I want it done now. So remember, not going to grab that plus sign and write it on my paper right now. I'm going to leave him alone. Divide your group into its two members. So the first member is 5x, so I draw my line right there after him. So what are my two members? 5x and positive 4. 5x and positive 4. And I know he's positive because I see that plus sign in front of it. So now we distribute. We do negative 1 times each member. Negative 1 times 5x. Negative 1 times 5 will give me negative 5. Reattach x. And then I will do negative 1 times positive 4. Negative 1 times positive 4 is negative 4. So because it's negative, I write minus 4. So on that second term, if he's positive, put plus in front of him. If he's negative, put minus. That's the biggest thing you got to remember here. All right, let's do 4 times x minus 8. 4 times x minus 8. Now, don't forget here when you see that x, what number is in front of him? You all know, positive 1. So that's actually 1x minus 8. I'm not going to grab that subtraction sign and write him down. That's the thing we're changing today. What are the members of your group? Well, the first member is 1x, so I'm going to draw my line after him. That makes the second member what? Negative 8. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We're doing 4 times 1x. 4 times 1x. 4 times 1 is 4, so that's going to be 4x. And then on the second part, we're doing 4 times negative 8. 4 times negative 8, which is negative 32. So I write a minus because it's a negative 32. And notice every single time I get the answer that I want. I don't wind up with any double signs. I don't have to worry about the whole keep it, change it mess. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try a -6 times x plus 5. Let's try -6 times x plus 5. So I'm going to pause here for just a minute and let you pause your video and try this one on your own. All right, let's see how you did. Now hopefully what you didn't do was grab this plus sign and write him down, because we're not doing that anymore. That's not the first step anymore. The first step is to divide up your group. So the first member of my group is 1x. I'm going to draw my line here after him. The second member of my group is what? Plus 5, positive 5. So my group members are 1x and positive 5. And notice again I'm saying positive 5 because of that plus sign right there. So we're going to multiply each member by -6. So -6 times 1x. -6 times 1 is -6. Reattach x. And then -6 times positive 5. -30. -30. So we write -30 because it's -30. So -6x minus 30 should be your answer. Hope you did good on that. All right, let's try 9 times 3x plus 2. 9 times 3x plus 2. Our new way of doing these problems is to think about the members of our group. So the first member of your group is 3x. I'm going to draw a line right after him. So the second member of my group is this positive 2. And I know he's positive because I see that plus there with him that says, hey, I'm a positive. So 3x and positive 2 are my group members. I'm going to multiply each one of those by 9. So I'm doing 9 times 3x. 9 times 3x. 9 times 3 is 27. Reattach x. So you should start out with 27x. And then 9 times positive 2. Is that positive 18 or is that negative 18? 9 times positive 2 is positive 18. So I should write plus 18. Plus because he's positive. So 27x plus 18. All right, let's do one last one. One last one. And on this last one, what I want to do is, I think 7 times -4x plus 5. 7 times -4x plus 5. Pause your video for just a moment and try this one on your own. And when you've tried it, then turn the video back on to see the solution. See how you did. All right, let's check this out. Now, hopefully what you didn't do is write down a plus sign. Don't carry that sign down anymore. What are your group members? -4x is your first group member. The second one is positive 5. So now let's multiply each of those group members by our 7. First, 7 times -4x. 7 times -4 is a -28. Reattach x. And then 7 times positive 5 is positive 35, so we should put plus 35 to indicate that that's positive. I fibbed. We'll do one more. I'm going to take that same problem right there and change that 7 to a negative 7. So let's do negative 7 times negative 4x plus 5. Now again here, if you want to, pause the video. Try this one on your own first, and then we'll check it. All right, so here we go. Let's look at our group members, because remember, now that's what we want to do. First group member is negative 4x. Second group member is positive 5. So we're going to multiply both of those group members by this negative 7. So first up, negative 7 times negative 4x. Negative 7 times negative 4 is 28. Reattach the x. Next up, negative 7 times positive 5. Negative 7 times positive 5 is negative 35. So I'm going to put minus to indicate that it's negative, and then put my 35. So to recap, still distributive is working the same way. So we haven't changed a thing. But what we're doing is changing the way we go about getting these answers. We are no longer grabbing this sign and writing it down here. What we're doing instead is dividing our group into the two members. So negative 4x, draw that line. And then this second one, the plus or minus sign that you have right here will tell you if that's a positive 5 or a negative 5. But you're still multiplying both members of the group by that outside number and letting whether this second part turns out positive or turns out negative tell you what sign to put right here. Give these a try. If you have any questions whatsoever, like I said, I know this is tough. The thing that I think makes it tough is the fact that it's changing the way you've done something now for several years. When you get used to it, what I can tell you is I think you'll like it. But it may feel a little uncomfortable at first, and that's okay. That's okay. But what I need you to do is if you are struggling with it, to let me know. And like I said, we can set up a Zoom call one-on-one at a time that's good for you so that I can face-to-face answer your questions and help. That's always an option, guys, if you're struggling, is to email me and say, hey, can we Zoom? And we certainly will. So give the problems that are assigned for today a try. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions. Y'all have a good day.